I was born in Budapest, and when I left Hungary, I was 3 with my mom, and it was communist at the time. So she got help, through NATO to get us over here, and we ended up in San Diego. So if she hadn't done any of that, I would probably be a Hungarian doctor because all my family are veterinary doctors, physicians, and I have a song called Black Sheep because I'm like totally the black sheep.
Shit's about to go down.
I'm feeling something in my spirit.
Chats Tatts with Aaron Della Vedova.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Chats and Tats with me, your host, Aaron Della Vedova. I am here with a very interesting woman today. She's an artist, she's a musician, she's a singer, and she's the front person of a very popular and doing well rock band. Her name is Dorothy Martin, and the name of her band is Dorothy. So we're going to learn a lot about what it takes to do what she does for a living, how she got there, why she even decided to do something like that in the first place, and the trials and tribulations that she's been through up to this point in her career. So without further ado, please welcome my guest, Dorothy Martin.
Hello. Hi, Aaron. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming down. This is cool. Well, one of the things I find fascinating in this world I live in is so many people have dreams and so many people don't follow their dreams. They get mired into fear or whatever they think they should be doing because their dad told them or culture told them. But there are these unicorns out there that seem to just go, fuck that. I'm going to do what I want to do. I'm doing it no matter what. Usually it's, I don't care if I die trying kind of attitude is behind that usually. So, maybe we could just start off. I always love hearing like the origin story. Like, maybe, we could even go back a little, like you're a little girl and maybe you don't even know you're a singer yet or a musician. And where does this start to brew in you? Where does this dream start to form for you?
Oh my gosh. Well, yeah, I think fear is the number one thing that stops people from doing anything. And I was born in Budapest. And when I left Hungary, I was 3 with my mom, and it was communist at the time. So she got help, through NATO to get us over here, and we ended up in San Diego. So if she hadn't done any of that, I would probably be a Hungarian doctor because all my family are veterinary doctors, physicians, and I have a song called Black Sheep because I'm like totally the black sheep.
I love that song, by the way. I listened to your whole new album on the way here.
Thank you. I brought you a copy of the vinyl.
Oh, thank you.
But
that's a great song, though.
Thank you.
It's kind of about what we're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm totally the black sheep of the family. Even when I came over here and my mother remarried my stepdad, he used to be a Columbia professor. A professor at Columbia University. And so academics were a big deal to him. And if I got a C, I got grounded. So there was a lot of pressure to perform well in school. I like to think of myself as an intelligent person, but I just don't. I'm built differently in the sense that I didn't want to conform and fit into what the world was telling me to do. It just felt wrong to me. And so I took a lot of weird deviations in my journey. And it's not, it's scary one. So I understand why people don't do it. And then I had to make a lot of sacrifices and figure out how to survive. But music really kind of saved me. I know it sounds cliche, but I love writing. And then I realized, you can write songs that really help people when they're struggling. And so that
it helped you.
Yeah.
Right.
Writing it helped me, and then connecting with fans. And, when they say, oh, like I wanted to kill myself, and then I heard a song that you wrote and that lyric stood out to me. Like then I go, okay, the sleepless nights, the grinding on the road, the 10 years of touring, or not 9 at this point of touring, it's all worth it because that's really satisfying.
That's a cool approach. I don't think I hear that from a lot of musicians, that the driving force behind their work is the impact and the help it gives to others versus their own, just it's all about them sometimes, I guess.
Yeah. Well, it started off that way. I'm not going to lie. It did start off that way. It kind of was like, I don't know what I want to do with myself. And I knew I always wanted to sing. I liked singing. Now I much more enjoy writing songs. But it definitely started off that way, and then the fans showed me that there's something much deeper here.
Something powerful
that
you have to give that you're in a unique position to give to so many people simultaneously.
Yes.
Right. It's one thing to sit in a room and maybe give a friend some advice. It's another thing to put out a song that hundreds of thousands of people listen to, and maybe 2,000 of them, it lifts them out of a dark place.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's why we're here.
That's really cool. No, I think you're right. I think we all are here in some way for that reason, to help each other. You know, we're all in this crazy, surrealistic acid trip together.
Matrix?
Matrix. I never know what to call it.
What book of Revelations are we in right now? I don't.
Yeah,
It's wild.
It is. It is. I've done a lot of hallucinogenics in my life, mostly for therapy and connecting spiritually. But I do them a lot less nowadays because I've just woken up to how crazy this reality. I'm like, this is trippy enough.
What is it? Truth is stranger than fiction.
Yes, that's right. Like, I don't need to take LSD to trip out. Like, just look out your window, man.
Yeah, I love when I talk to people that are awake too and see things that are going on, and like, you know, the world goes, "Oh, you're a conspiracy theorist." I'm like, it's literally right in front of your face.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
But you're just having cognitive dissonance, and you're in fear, and you're like operating at a lower vibration, I guess you could say, so you're not able to see it.
True that. And yeah, and you probably agree, you can't waste too much time trying to raise that vibration. Like,
You have to exist at a higher level. You have to operate from love, you know, and it'll either trigger people and make them angry, or it'll pull them up out of the dark place.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's being it. It's not the words or the book you tell them to read or any of that stuff. And you're right. For some people, it's very repelling. And conspiracy theories, that one gets to me. As if conspiracies have never happened, you know?
Right.
Like, you know, they happen, right?
They're not lying to us. No, they're just totally honest about everything.
Yeah, they're just here to help.
They're just, yeah, they're not hoarding money and weapons. It's fine. I say stay where you're at and make it better. Don't be afraid.
True. That's a good point. Can't run from everything.
I feel like everyone has a divine purpose, and they're walking out this, you know, this journey that they're on. And I ended up here for a reason. And it's crazy because when you think about it, I really don't even think about this as much as I should. The odds of getting signed to a record deal, the odds of actually getting signed to a label are very slim. Mm-hmm. So why did I travel halfway around the world? I feel like that's a divine appointment.
Yeah, not coincidence.
I don't think it's coincidence.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah, because it's too crazy. And then on top of that, like I would say for the genre of rock and roll music, you know, we've done pretty well. I think it's been good. I do like to put out good music, and our fans are freaking awesome. And we get to travel around and see America and play music. Yeah. And you know, we've played a lot of great venues this year, House of Blues, lots of theater. I'm not Jim Carrey, but we get to travel and see America and meet fans, and it's, man, the stories they have that they tell us, it's just great to meet all these people that listen to your music.
Well, you were also saying, like, what are the odds that all these events could have occurred to put you where you are right now? It's like a billion to one or whatever, you know. And I mean, that just reminds me of, you know, I've heard that story from a lot of people who have found their dream in life, and it always comes back to people that are willing to face fear and have courage, not back down when it seems terrifying, you know? Yeah.
We were talking about this, when you face the fear, and now to me, it seems like then it opens a door for you.
Yep. But then you're not done, right? Then there's the next scary thing.
Yeah.
You know,
test after test after test.
Yeah, it's so true. I keep waiting for that retirement phase, and I haven't gotten there yet. But yeah, you're right. It is about facing fear. It's about having the courage to, and really, when you talk about facing fear, it really has a lot to do with how much you love yourself. Because if you love yourself a lot, you'll face more fear, right? Because you'll go, you know what? That thing might not work out, but I know who I am, and I love who I am, and I'll pick myself back up, and I'll get going. But if you don't love yourself a whole lot, and you look at the potential of a failure, your answer is usually going to be, well, I'm not even going to take the chance. Because if life knocks me down in this moment and I fail, and I already have trouble loving myself as I am, this is going to get hard. It's going to get harder. Yeah. So you know what? I'm going to stay here. It's not the best deal for me, but it's safe. And then they just safe.
But failure is like the best teacher.
Oh yeah.
It makes you stronger. It teaches you, you know. So the way I felt like I was made, I was always like, what's the truth? I was always desperately searching for something. Even as a teenager, as a young adult, I was just like, what I never felt like I fit in with everybody. And I was like, what is the truth? Like, what's going on out there? And then slowly over the years, I kind of just started to wake up, and then I would go back to sleep, and then I would have an experience and I'd wake up again. It's weird.
Well, speaking of waking up and experiences, I was reading online how, and you can maybe tell the story better than I, but I just to highlight it, you were playing somewhere and you found your guitar tech who had overdosed, who was blue and green, dying, or you thought dead.
No, he was dead.
I'll let you take it from there. What happened?
Well, so we were leaving Philadelphia. We had just played a show and we were in the middle of the night on the highway, and I was asleep on the tour bus. And my photographer, Skylar, she woke me up and she's like, hey, I don't want to say his name, but so-and-so, he's not breathing, and my manager and sound guy had heard him choking in his bunk in the middle of the night. So they pulled him out and they were trying to do CPR on him. And when they woke me up, I came out in the front lounge and there was no fear. It was like I just kind of had this sense of knowing what's going on. And I knew he was dead. I knew his soul, his spirit was no longer in his body. And then I instinctively just knew to pray for him. And, it took the paramedics quite a while to get to us because we were on a tour bus on a highway in the middle of nowhere. And, CPR wasn't working. He was out for, I don't even know how long. But the whole time felt to me like this very powerful, loving presence kind of filled the tour bus, and I got this impression in my spirit just to pray for him. And so, and I wasn't religious. I wasn't, I just did it. And I grabbed my sound guy. I'm like, we got to pray. And while this is happening, I hear the paramedics talking to the bus driver, like, are there any drugs on the bus? And it was a dry tour. And I'm like, no, that's crazy. And this was a new crew member that was referred by a friend, and nobody really knew him that well, but he had track marks on his arm and he had gotten heroin and overdosed in the middle of the night. So that happened. And then so we're praying for him, and I'm like, God, in my mind, I'm just like, God, if you can hear me, can you give this guy another chance? And then this voice, not audibly, but kind of in my spirit, is the only way I can describe it, said, okay, we're sending him back now. Mm-hmm. And when we were done praying, he opened his eyes and they were able to revive him. And I've had people say, oh, that's just Narcan. Like, do you know how many people die from overdoses? Mm-hmm. My boyfriend's a paramedic. He sees it all the time, Narcan doesn't always work. And I can tell you that what happened that day was, that was the day I believed in God, because the night before that happened, I said, I was praying for some reason. I was going through stuff emotionally, and I was like, God, if you're real, I want to believe in you, and I need you to show yourself. So that's what I prayed the night before this happened. So, coincidence or divine appointment? Right. I don't know.
Oh, I would go divine appointment, 100%. 100%. It's also more fun to think of things that way. Why not go with the fun route?
Well, I've seen too much now, and I've had so many things happen that there's no doubt in my mind that God is real. And I actually was saved in rehab. So I am now a Christian, born again. But, and that happened in rehab. And once that happened, they say you get the gifts from the Holy Spirit. And one of them is, there's the gifts. And then there's, when you're operating in the gifts, like, they are spiritual gifts that are given to you for free because God loves you. And when you invite him into your life, he comes and changes everything. And so I started seeing people that were like, I could just see stuff on them. It's like I had a new set of eyes, and I can kind of get these intuitive downloads about people that, and when God tells me to pray for somebody or do something, I just obey and I do it. And it's always miraculous. It's really wonderful.
That's a beautiful story.
Crazy. I never thought I'd be I don't know.
That's
I don't know
cool.
who's writing this story.
That's cool. And I love it because, for me, I had a similar thing. Well, totally different, but I had a very distinctive moment where I knew God was real too. God's a word I don't use as much just because I'm not I don't know. It's very Christianly based. And for me,
and I used to be the very same. I couldn't even say the G word.
I don't mind it now, though. I think why not? It's got it's whatever made all this. I think God always felt like a dude, and I always bothered me a little bit. I'm like, I don't know if it's that simple, man. I don't think it's just some gray-haired dude.
Yeah.
But anyway, I was the second time I did DMT, and I found myself, I was a ball of light. I was surrounded by 4 what I think were angels. They were just humanoid in shape, but made of pure white light.
Oh, that's amazing.
And like you said, the communication was happening in a more of a download type way. There was no language.
No, telepathically.
But they told me very simply to first relax, because I think I was freaking out a little bit. And then they said, look around. And I looked around. They go, now tell us, do you recognize this place? And everything's made of light. I'm in like a Sistine Chapel.
You're in the kingdom of heaven.
Maybe the
the
guest house,
the
or
waiting
something.
room, the lobby.
But I did. I felt home. I was like, and they said, this is where you're from. This is where you came from. And you're having an earthly experience, and you're going to go back to that experience. But just, we're going to give you a little help. And I think these were the divine gifts. And they did a download. They each, a ball of light shot out of each of them into me, merging into me. And it was like I felt like encyclopedias of information were just going.
Wow. And what were the pieces of information that were the most important?
That's the thing, like you said, I was never the same. It's like I had new eyes.
Wow.
I had, my intuition was different.
I got to smoke DMT with you. This is, I want to go to the lobby.
Oh God. Well, we could arrange that. But that was the day, because I had always really felt like, yeah, there probably is an intelligent thing that created a God. Mm-hmm. But I was like you. I'm like, I need to see it. I'm just like that. I can't believe something because somebody else tells me.
Right. I
have to experience it myself. And I was sort of praying in that way, asking whatever it was to show me. Yeah. Show me. I don't want to just read it in a book. And that day it showed me. And from that point on, I definitely believe in a creator. And in that way, I guess I'm a born again Christian as well. In some regard, it's just different versions of it.
You're definitely a child of God. I mean, we all are, right? Yeah. He's in our DNA. And I say he, I say God, I say Jesus. This is just language, right? Right. And Jesus came, God came down incarnate in man's form, and he was awake. He was awake, and he wanted to teach us. Mm-hmm. So, I love when people wake up and they have these experiences.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I loved you sharing that. And, and that kind of...
But like, I'm not against doing DMT now. Like, that sounds pretty cool.
It's, by the way, I've been with and in the room, and I've done it many times, but I've been around probably 50 different times. And the consistency of that experience is profound.
Right. I hear that people have very similar, if not exact similar
Very few people come out of it, if it's done correctly, without that type of realization. Now, the visuals change. Some people go to Egypt for whatever reason. Some people go to like Buddha type places. Mine was matrixy, futuristic, Sistine Chapel type imagery. Wow. And I don't know why that changes. I don't know if were past lives. Maybe those people were, Tibetan in their past lives, and those people were Egyptians, and I'm from Mars. But the message is consistent. And the realization that people come out of it is very consistent.
That's really beautiful. Do you ever see people that maybe might be struggling with drugs and alcohol of the darker variety, trying to get free of that and having, having that be very therapeutic?
That is, I just know this from my own research, but DMT doesn't seem to do a great job with addiction for whatever reason. It definitely can, and it can. I mean, obviously, if you come out of a trip believing that there is a God and you have changed in some way, it might, dump away some of your addiction. But I've noticed that, because dimethyltryptamine is what it's called, is also can be delivered in another form called ayahuasca, mm-hmm. which is a 6-hour journey, and you meet Mother Ayahuasca. And that one seems to be way better for addiction. Like, people really cure addiction. I don't know why that is, that and iboga, but the DMT is, I feel like it's a little more for people who already have most of their shit straight. They're not trying to kick heroin.
More of a spiritual journey where they're trying to maybe interact with God, as opposed to dealing with their junk. Maybe deal with the junk first.
That's right.
Right.
That's 100% right.
And the only way I know to deal with the junk is to ask for help. Yeah. I've got alcoholism on my mother's side of the family, and nobody had AA back in Hungary back in the day, right? Mm-hmm. So there's been just miraculous recovery in my family of people just stopping, and I don't know how. That's got to be some sort of like divine intervention, because I know it's hard.
Or super strong willpower, which where does willpower come from? The source, possibly.
Maybe.
Our strength. Where does our inner strength come from? The source, maybe. But that's cool, and that kind of parlays us over to your latest album, Gifts from the Holy Ghost, right? Isn't this the theme?
Wild.
Aren't we kind of talking about the theme of this?
The Holy Ghost is just up in my life. I named the record that. I was in Brooklyn in 2020 working on the record in the middle of a pandemic lockdown. You know, I'm in Brooklyn and I'm going to the studio every day. And I woke up in the hotel room and that's the first thought I had. And I was not Christian. I wasn't reading the Bible. I didn't know what the Holy Ghost was. I mean, I've heard of the Holy Spirit. I wasn't making a religious album in any sense, but I woke up and I was like, that sounds like the title of my album. And I wrote it down and here it is, you know, and now full circle, I know what it means.
How funny.
And it just came to me. I had no idea.
You got the title before you knew the meaning of why you even came up with to put it there in the first place.
Yeah.
It was
so
like in
I've
reverse.
had help from some angels, I guess. I don't know.
So you're sober and
I
have
am.
been
I'm
for
in recovery. Well, you know, I've been in and out for years, so I get the struggle. You know, I'm not
Right.
like the best example.
Right.
But I can't like go back and live in a dark place. It's just so uncomfortable to me now.
Mm-hmm. How? I mean, I'm just thinking of you in your profession, right? Touring, the people you're around.
It's there. It's all around you.
Challenging, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, you're playing in bars and venues with bars and listen, if you're going to drink, you're going to drink. If you're going to be sober, you're going to be sober. And you know, relapse has been a big part of my story. And so I've searched many ways of staying healthy.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what works the best for me is having a lot of structure, waking up early, you know, working out, prayer and meditation,
Mm-hmm.
being of service to other people. That will get you out of yourself really quickly because you get selfish and you go into a dark place. And I just feel like staying connected, being of service, and making God the front and center of your life, and then everything else falls into place.
What about like just practical stuff? Like, do you avoid certain? I mean, it's the show's over. Everyone's going wherever. You probably just don't go, right? Or do you?
Yeah,
are you
I don't. You know, sometimes I can.
Right.
I've gone out and like gotten my bass player drunk on purpose. Tequila, drink it, you know, it's because it's funny. But no, like if I don't feel like it, I'll just go to bed. And as the vocalist, I can't be out talking with everybody all night long anyway. So I go in my bunk and I watch The Office and I fall asleep.
Routine, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, healthy. And I think you said you're on a cleanse right now.
I'm on a fast. Yeah, I'm on a fast.
How many days you doing?
I'm on the third day. So I'm doing good right now. We'll see how far I can get. I'm trying to do 7, and I've never done it. Before. Like I've done a cleanse, you know, where you take all the supplements and you clean your system out just for health. This is more spiritual. I've never done this before. So we'll see what happens. Apparently it's very powerful.
Is it just water or
water, juice, green juice, broth?
Okay. So you can
just
have a little
liquid,
sustenance. Just,
coffee.
Okay.
Yeah. No food, I
I think you're doing great. I've done a few in my life. I love doing fasts.
Reset the system.
Oh, man, the first one I ever did, my stomach has never been the same. It never came back. Like everything changed. I hate to get graphic, but the way the poop is and the way the gurgling after a meal went away, and
you clean everything
I don't
out.
burp as much anymore. Like I knew something died in there. I killed a bacteria
or a
something.
parasite.
Or a parasite.
It's
or something.
crazy. What's in our food?
I don't know, man, but it was like exercising a demon or something.
You probably did.
But having done them, you're on day 3. That's usually, if you're going to have a rough time, it'd be now.
Yeah, I feel good. It's
I was
weird.
going to say, you've got good energy.
Thank you. I feel really good. And I feel like I can feel the inflammation in my body going down.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing a lot of like organic chicken broth, green celery juice, water, a little bit of salt in there. It's crazy. But I think the whole point is that you're supposed to rely on not yourself, but your source of strength to get you through it. And there's some spiritual warfare aspect to this that I've heard. I'm a baby Christian. I don't know what I'm talking about, but some strongholds and some issues and oppression can only be broken through prayer and fasting is what they say. But I can see how that might be true because I feel lighter, not physically. I just feel lighter.
No, I know what you mean. Yeah. When I've done mine, it's the same thing. I can, I try to meditate a few days a week. And when I'm fasting, wow, I can get way more when I'm in yoga and I'm fasting. My breathing is happening, as it's supposed to. Everything's just, I feel lighter. I feel more focused. I feel more centered. Everything's more grounded, spiritually.
Maybe we don't need as much food as we think we do.
Oh, I 100% agree. I guarantee you that's true. And I think part of it's age. I'm 51 and it's surprising how little food I eat nowadays. And I'm still 200 pounds,
Wow.
I don't know if that's suited for a 22-year-old that's working out at, 24-hour fitness for 2 hours a day.
Yeah.
He needs probably to put back some calories.
Yeah, gains.
But I do think, our culture, you look at the plates of food they bring us, it's really quite ridiculous.
Well, now it's going to be so much better when I get to break my fast and have In and Out
Oh, that's that.
or something,
Yeah, In and Out.
Or a Burger Bench. Have you been to Burger Bench?
No.
It's so good.
That's a good one?
Yeah. I think there's one in Escondido. It's so good.
I was actually going to get to some silly questions at the end about just little things about you. Like, what is your favorite food?
Food. Wow, I love Asian food. I love sushi. I love ramen. I love Asian food. Dim sum.
Dim sum.
Dim sum. Let me tell you, my label took us out in New York to the oldest dim sum place in New York. It's called Nam Hua Tea Parlor. They actually filmed John Wick right in front of it. I was like, that's Nam Hua Tea Parlor. I've been there. And they don't speak English, cash only. They don't take reservations. It's ridiculous. It's the best dim sum I've ever had in my life.
Only good one I've had is that one at UTC Mall. What's that one called? Dim Tai Fung?
Okay, now I'm going to have to write this down because
Have you been to that one though?
I haven't been, but my boyfriend and I are total foodies. So
I thought it was good, but I'm sure it's nothing like that. So that's one of your favorite foods. What about movies? What's a favorite movie of yours?
I've been watching like Jack Ryan, the show.
I haven't seen that.
I love spy, conspiracy, government type movies. And I love when they sneak stuff into the dialogue. Like I always catch it, like,
Like a puzzle.
stuff that they want the public to, they just want it in your subconscious. And it stands out to me like a red flag. Now I'm like, I'm awake. You can't get that shit
like
past me.
propaganda.
Totally.
I see what
I'm like so aware of it that when it happens, I laugh and I'm like, I wonder how many people are asleep and it just goes right into their computer and they don't even like realize what
so
they're
true.
ingesting.
I noticed that shit
But it just
too.
kind of like bounces off, it doesn't affect me.
It makes you wonder if like there's some elite culture and
Cabal?
how I hate to go there.
I didn't get the invitation to the Illuminati. I'll let you know if they ever send it to me
That's
in the mail.
part of the reason it pisses me off. Like no one asked me to be a part of it.
I know. I don't know how you gotta. I mean, I'm sure. I don't know if they exist. I'm sure the membership card is not easy to obtain.
Right. That's cool.
I don't have that reptilian bloodline in my system. Sorry.
Yeah, we don't have the right DNA.
Right.
What about? Okay, this is a fun one for me lately. AI. Okay. You probably know where I'm going here, but. I'll speak from my perspective. So the other day I get this AI app. I put a bunch of pictures of my face in it and it shoots out. You've probably done
all the art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then I'm going through it in my head and I'm like, okay, I'm a 30-year tattooer. I spent my whole life thinking
Learning
of
art
and how to draw something super cool
Isn't
and
that
unique.
scary?
So now I'm thinking this young artist now, he's going to come up and a client's going to say, I want a trippy Buddha. All he has to do is go to his app, put 20 pictures of Buddha in there, hit a button. He gets 20 unique pieces of art, takes it down, stencils it on and tattoos it, which I'm okay with. It's just like, wait a second, AI. Now let's go to music.
Well, it's gonna sap all the creativity out of us when we want to talk about music. Like when I write, it's like a download. It's very intuitive.
Right.
I will never use AI to fake write a song for me. No way.
And I won't use it to do my art as well because there's something soulless to it. Right.
Yeah.
But so I'm listening to this podcast. So they give this, you might have seen it or heard it, but they give this computer everything Jimi Hendrix has ever written. And they tell it to write a new Jimi Hendrix
You're
song.
kidding.
I have to find this. I'll find it later and send it to you. It's a killer song. I'm not killer, but it's good. And it's like a song I've never heard.
But do you feel it?
Well, I didn't really quiet myself
Do
to
you get
go there.
goosebumps? Do you feel it?
I was just more tripping that it was even happening the first listen.
Yeah.
But I think you're right. I need to really sit quietly with headphones on and really kind of feel what I feel because you would expect there would be something missing.
Yeah. When a song has that extra dimensional power to it, your body will like viscerally react. You'll get goosebumps.
Get a tear.
And I swear when God wants to say something to me, he'll highlight stuff in songs. But God will highlight things in songs. The volume will literally be turned up or that lyric will just kind of pop out at me. Same with people like that person will become highlighted and pop out at me. And I know that there's something here that I need to be paying attention to, something that's got to happen. And that happens with music all the time.
So true.
I don't think a computer can replicate that.
I agree. By the way, I agree. I just, as a fellow artist,
But it is weird.
it's weird. It's weird to see.
They're
like,
coming for our jobs.
Yeah, my kids are going to they have to write a book report or on a subject. They're going to enter it into AI. It's going to spit out this perfectly written document and they can give it to their teacher.
So they don't have to go to school anymore. What's the point of school?
Now we're going down the rabbit hole.
Right. What is school anyway? Is it like a brainwashing program? Is it? Are they educating kids anymore? I don't know. I haven't been in school in a long time, and it's just changed so much that I'm kind of like, what's going on over there?
Well, I have 2 kids that are in school, and yeah, I think it is. I think it's a big machine designed to churn out perfect little worker bees.
Or political activists.
One of the-
Everyone's an
right.
activist now. Have you noticed?
Yeah, the whole woke movement that's going on. Yeah, that's
Do you pay attention to Elon Musk? I bet you do.
a little.
Yeah.
I
I like
try
some
to-
of the stuff he says. He obviously has no fear, which is great.
He doesn't, and that is great. And I love him. I think he's genuine. I think he's real. Of course, I tell that to people, and they're like, "Oh, he's as manipulative as they come. That's all a ploy to get people to love him. He doesn't give a shit about the
Maybe.
planet."
We'll see.
We'll see. Yeah.
Your actions will prove where your heart's at, right?
I love his cars. I got one of those Teslas, man. They're so fun to drive. Yeah, we'll see what happens with AI. The world's changing rapidly. It's going to be interesting these next 10 years, and hopefully I'm around and you're around to see it all. You know?
I think so. I think you're doing good work here.
Well, let's this is Chats and Tats. You've been tattooed. I want to hear what was your first tattoo?
Oh, my first tattoo was a terrible, not even sleeve in PB.
What shop do you remember? What shop?
I don't remember the name of the shop. I'm pretty sure the guy was on drugs. I just wanted a tattoo. I was feeling rebellious. I was a teenager. I was listening to a lot of punk rock and roll and like Audio Slave and AC/DC, all the rock, all the different genres of rock and metal I was listening to, right? And I was just like, I want a tattoo. And so but I got like this dumb little flowery sunset. The placement was terrible, which now you guys are lasering off, so thank you. And I would like to cover it with a really dope sleeve.
I didn't know that's the one you're getting. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That was my first tattoo. My second tattoo was it's on my arm. It was a little tiny symbol that was on the cover of the AFI album.
It's all right.
So we blew it up and just did it because my friend and I were really, really into AFI in high school, and then from there it was just like collecting stuff. They've gotten better as I've learned about tattoos.
All right. So now is it a little more meaning and behind your tattoo?
A little more meaning. I stopped getting tattoos on the road because that's really dicey.
Yeah.
I started paying attention to who the artist is and making sure I felt really convicted about it. Not kind of like, because when you have that feeling, it's probably not best to do it. It's permanent, you know?
Yeah. I mean, there's 2 types of collectors out there. And as a tattoo artist, I know a lot of the second type. And
the kids that are like, just fuck it, and they do something cool and they have a ton of them, they get so lucky and they end up with really cool.
But you got to really be okay with that fuck it attitude your whole life.
Yeah.
And some people can do it. Now, I'm one of them. I have a bunch. I could show you some of my ridiculous tattoos. And people are looking at me like, are you going to leave that there? And I'm like, yeah, it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
I was on a snowmobile on the top of a glacier. My son did it. They're like, it looks like shit. I'm like, I don't care. But yeah, and if you have that spirit, then you can get a tattoo on the road. But if you're a little more, if you're a little more focused on quality and having it mean something, yeah, you probably should take that pause and figure out who's doing it and why.
I'm more of the pause person.
Yeah.
Be really sure about it.
Well, we're gonna do one today, I think.
Yes, we are.
A cross.
Let's do a little cross right here, just a little.
Just as simple as can be.
Yeah, I'll let you design it and do whatever you want.
Okay.
Yeah.
Without further ado, then, I guess we're going to take a break right now, you guys. We're going to head over to the other side. We're going to rip a tat on Dorothy.
Let's rip a tat.
All right. We'll see you over there.
Yeah.
Just telling Dorothy, I think that's the quickest tattoo I've done in 20 something years. It was fun though.
Awesome.
Usually it's like 6 hours of arduous work. There it is, everybody. All it's
Small but mighty.
small but mighty. That's right. That's right. Well, it was fun. It was fun to do it because it has meaning. Obviously we've talked about the meaning for that tattoo, Christianity in general, spiritual connection in general, awakening in general, all those things for you. Big part of your life nowadays. So to have that means a lot to you. And hey man, I respect all tattoos. They don't got to be back pieces, you know, knowing that's your story. And I was able to be a part of that story with you.
The meaning behind it is so huge. Thank you.
No, you're welcome. I'm honored to have done it. So, I wanted to just, we're done here today, but before we leave, I mean, I'm just thinking about future, right? So you've gotten to this place in your career. You've got this great album that's coming out. You're touring. You're living your dream. What about? Do you have any what's next things for you in your life?
I don't know.
Or just more of this?
You know, I don't know. But one thing I like to do when I'm not on tour is find a skill and learn it. And so I'm doing the Muay Thai and the boxing and training. You know, that's really key to my mental health and physical health, but I think more so mental health. And it's the hardest thing I've ever done. So it's having that challenge and just showing up and doing it. And, you know, even if you don't show up that week, go back when you can. Like putting that on my plate has been really helpful to me. And I feel strong. I walk differently. Like I just carry myself differently. So I like to pick up skills. I mean, I'm just like a weirdo. I just want to go do like weapons and firearms training and like become a super spy. I don't know what's wrong with me.
Yeah, your skills seem to be focused towards that super spy type.
I know,
skill
right?
set.
I just want to be a badass. What does that say about me? On like, what do I feel like I need to be strong or, you know?
I don't know. I mean, learning those, you know, martial arts in general is it's such a beautiful art form and training of mind connection to body.
Yeah.
And yes, it's a self.
And if you need it, it comes in handy.
And there's something to that. Like I kind of regret that I don't have that. I'm not a little wussy, but
it's never too late to start.
I've been thinking about it.
You know, it's never too late. My one biggest regret in life, I have two, but was not sticking with it as a kid. I did Kempo and Taekwondo when I was a kid, and then I got more into gymnastics and cheer, but I wish I had stuck with martial arts.
Well, like you said, it's never too late.
Yeah.
You're back in it now. That's
back in
cool.
it now.
Are you an MMA fan?
You know, I'm learning. I'm studying it. I'm doing the training and I'm learning. And I want to go to fights. There's some local fights and stuff. So, you know, I don't know too much about it, but
But the more you learn the moves, the more fun it is to watch.
It is, because you're like, oh, he
Right.
did that thing.
Right.
Yeah.
I practiced
Sweep
that
the
last
leg.
week. Right.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. I just do it because I feel great.
Well, it's great fitness.
Yeah.
You talk about a full body workout, standing there punching bags and kicking bags. And I mean,
yeah.
that's just, you're using everything, balance and agility and strength and endurance. It's all in one big package.
Yeah, I was kicking the heavy bag, you know, and you got to land right on your shin, but I was hitting it up too high on my shin, and I came home with just, I mean, the gnarliest bruises. But it gets tough, you know, and then you can do it and it doesn't hurt.
It doesn't bruise you anymore.
Right.
What doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Right.
Well, this has been rad. Getting to know you better. Got to do a wonderful tattoo on you today. I think this is, you know, what the stories you've told. I think a lot of people will relate to that. And like you said in the beginning, your music and your focus towards hoping your music can lift somebody out of that little dark space.
Yeah.
I think some of the words and the stories you told today will do just that as well. So,
you know, and I wanted to leave you guys with this. I had an experience recently, and it was small, but it was powerful. Somebody was having a very dramatic response to something, and my internal voice was like, I'm not going to react to this. And it's something that I don't typically do. I'm very reactive. I'm very emotional, and I tend to react. And it was a big thing for me that I was calm enough in my spirit and aware enough that I was like, I'm not going to react to this. So like, even when you have those little nuanced experiences, you're learning. And I think here the point is to never stop seeking and never stop looking for better, bigger, like, you know, realizations.
like a tree, it's either growing or dying. It's
Right.
never sitting still.
Right.
Yeah. All of life sort of operates that way. And I think we could all look at ourselves and ask ourselves every morning, what am I doing today? Am I growing or am I shrinking?
Am I coming from love or am I coming from fear?
Those are the two base emotions. Every other emotion comes from one of those two places. Those are the core places. So asking yourself where you're coming from in any given moment.
Yeah.
That's cool. Remaining calm and non-reactive.
Not reacting. Yeah, it's a big one for me.
Yeah, it is. It's a big one for me too. And you start to realize there's so much shit that does not require your reaction to.
Yeah.
You can just observe and just be a presence around it, and not, this is my opinion and I have something to say about that. This is.
You don't have to tweet everything.
That's true too.
You don't have to respond to every new wave of whatever's flushing through the media,
Totally.
trying to, zap your emotions and your energy. You don't have to react to it.
Unplug.
Unplug.
Yeah. All right. Well, very cool. Honor having you on the show.
Thank you.
You mentioned some tattoos in the future. Hopefully we do that. I would love to do a kitty cat tattoo on you. You mentioned
Wesley
that.
Stripes. That's right. He deserves one. He's a legend.
All right. I'm here
Thank
when
you.
you're ready.
I'm feeling something in my spirit.
Chats and Tats with Aaron Della Vedova.